Hey guys, it's just a quick video explaining the activity. At this point you should have already watched the video that explains overall the concept, and this is just the videos to help you out, make sure you're doing the activity correctly. So you're going to open up the Google Sheets, and first of all, whenever you see a box that's got a blue background, that's where you of course type in your answers. But more importantly, whenever you see a box with a red background, those boxes are formatted to turn green if you put the correct value in, so whether it's the correct word or the correct number. So we'll see some of that in a minute. And if you read the directions, it says that we're trying to simulate equilibrium, just like in the video. And we're starting off with 40 of the particles for reactants, and we have no products to begin with. And we want to do these transfers, and the directions say you're supposed to do half of A each time, and you'll transfer a quarter of B each time. These middle lanes are where you do the transfer. So for example, we're starting with 40 particles of A and no particles of B. So what is half of 40? Well, we of course know that's 20, but let's say we put in the wrong answer. Let's say we thought half of 40 was 10. Put in 10, the box will stay red. So if I put in the correct number, 20, then it'll turn green. So you instantly know whether you're doing this right. It's kind of a nice perk to have. And if the calculations get more complicated, I've got my calculator handy. You can have your handheld calculator. This is actually the one that's from the computer. Whatever works for you. And so we're going to take a quarter of 0, because right now there's nothing for B that's being transferred. So a quarter of 0 is still 0. Okay, here's where it gets a little bit more complicated. At this point, A has transferred 20, and B has transferred none. So you have to think to yourself, A was at 40, it lost 20, and picked up none. So now A should be at 20. B was at 0. It lost 0, but picked up 20. So now B should be at 20. Okay, so let's continue on then. Half of A, half of 20 is 10. And a quarter of 20 is 5. Okay, so now I have to think to myself, 20 for A lost 10 and picked up 5. So 20 minus 10 is 10, plus 5 is 15. And then B lost 5 but picked up 10. So 20 minus 5 is 15, plus 10 is 25. Another way you can look at this if you're sort of really fast with your math is you can look at this as, okay, well, A picked up 5, no, I'm sorry, A lost 5 more than it gained, and then B gained 5 more than it lost, if you can happen to see that. Otherwise, we'll just keep going on the same way. Here's where it starts to get a little bit messier. This is part of the reason we want this video. So half of 15. Well, if we do 15, clear that. 15 divided by 2 is a 7.5. Anytime you have 0.5 or higher, we can't technically have like half of a particle. So 0.5 or higher, we're going to just round up. So that's going to be 8. If you have anything less than 0.5, then we'll round down. So we'll go with the lower number. And then we do a quarter of 25. So 25 divided by 4 is 6.25. So we'll make that 6 essentially. And this keeps going that same way. So 15 minus 8 is going to be 7, plus 6 is going to be 13. And again, if you do it wrong, you could just quickly check. It'll tell you whether you did it wrong or not. 25 minus 6 is 19, plus 8 is 27. Okay. Then we do half of 13. So 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. So that's going to round up to 7. And 27 divided by 4 6.75, so that's going to round up to 7. So now we've reached equilibrium. Now you want to fill in the rest of this table. I don't want to give away too much, but you fill in the rest of the table. Scroll down and make sure you plug in your answers for these blue boxes. They won't tell you whether you put in the correct answer or not, unfortunately, because there could be all kinds of different answers people put in, so we couldn't really program for that. But make sure when you finish this tab that you go down to the next tab to finish up. So this is the Le Chatelier's tab. So click on that one. And this is already started when you follow the same process. And again, the red boxes will turn green if you input the right number. So if you're unsure, just play around a little bit until you get there. Otherwise, of course, you can ask your teacher. But yeah, so same thing over here. There's going to be words for the answers. Just make sure you're careful of capitals and things. For these, you have to put exactly the word opposite or the word the same to make it work. For these, you have to put in the word right, the word left, or the phrase no effect to make it work. Okay, so that should help with this activity. Contact your teacher if you get stuck or if you need any help with that.